hey, 6 times the guy with the green-orange hands and board on his face will go through all sorts of title stuff again and again. And today, we have something really special here. Namely, I'm going to slip into my deep baritone voice. ZBroia Kozak. It is written, I will show it to you in a moment on the map. I can show it to you right now. It is written ZBroia. So, and I only know that it's called ZBroia because I checked it with Google Translate, had it read out to me. Yes, you can guess what Kozak means. Kozak, of course. Alright. So before I continue here, I reached out to the company. I had never heard of them before. They're based in Ukraine. And there's a little booklet that contains the production data and so on. So I thought I'd just check in, even in the middle of a war, but maybe they're still making air rifles there. And I actually got a response the very next day. Blah, 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 blah. First of all, thank you so much for choosing your gun and for your kind words. Because I said it's really great, I think it's awesome. And then I actually asked because the date is given in a weird format. I wanted to make sure I was reading it right, and the serial number 000767. It looked like that was the barrel number. So that must have been the 706th and 70th rifle. So I asked again. The serial number says it's the 707th rifle. This is the 776th one. So this is basically the base model they came to market with, and this here is exactly the 776th one. So now we know for sure. So this is the base model, practically launched with, and this here is exactly the 776th one. So now we know for sure. The number on the reservoir indicates when it was manufactured, which means it says here, 01668, volume 220 cc cubic centimeters, maximum working pressure 300 bar. It's important to know, test pressure 495 bar, made in Ukraine, 12/17, so December, made in 2017. Very nice. The date, 18/12/17, written in one word, means that the rifle was finally packed for delivery to the dealer the 18th of December. It has to be stated on it. Currently, the Kozak model is discontinued, so that model is no longer being produced. 2017, so on the 18th of December, just like that, it has to be stated that at this moment, the Kozak model is already discontinued, so that model is no longer being produced. It was the first serial PCP weapon we produced. Based on this model, we designed the Kozak FC, SAP, Sun, etc. That was the first PCP weapon we produced in series. So based on this model, we designed the Kozak FC, SAP, Sun, etc. So we can say that these models are much more improved and upgraded. So based on this model, the subsequent models were produced. So we can say that these models are basically updated and improved Kozak models. Kozak. So the subsequent models are basically updated and improved Kozak models. So this here is basically the foundation on which everything they produce is built. So your gun is simple and reliable. We hope you enjoy it. Yes, it's simple. I can't say it's reliable yet. It might be a bit early, but I will definitely do that. Best record, ZBroia team, and so on and so forth. So, that's a manufacturer that responds after a day under such difficult circumstances. I think that's good. So, now let's get to the point. I would say I'll just start off... No, I want to make one more point. You might be saying, hey, the Picatinny rail is missing down there. Yeah, I unscrewed it. I have it here in the bag. It's relatively short, because this thing is a pleasure to hold. So I'm only wearing the gloves because it's expected of me. This rifle is fun to touch. It's wood, it's all smooth, it's all rounded. That was annoying. That added Picatinny rail, it was really bothersome. It's already resting on a sandbag anyway, and with the sandbag, the rail gets in the way again, because it can catch on everything. Anyway, let's start with a general read-through. We've already covered that. Then I'll read about the overhead saber, made in Ukraine now. By the way, it simply means weapon, translated as 2001. Behind it is a logo with a 161, 151 upside down, which I can't decipher further. Then we have Kozak in Cyrillic script on the back. Can you see that? I don't care. Why do I always get so worked up? So it says here PCP. 450-220. This is the model. The 450. I think that's the total barrel length. It goes from here to here. Watch out, I'm about to sneeze. Wipe it up. And 220 is the volume of the tank in cubic centimeters. Serial number XK. Behind it are some engraved marks that I really couldn't decipher, no matter how hard I tried. But it could be an S. But it could be a 5 Ws or Ws. Maybe it's Ukrainian shelling marks or something like that. I have no idea. Caliber 177 or 4.5 mm 7 joule F mark, no PTB number. I hope that works anyway. This one was made in 2017, long before the regulation. So we've got it covered. Oh right, the scope didn't come with it. I added that myself. This is the high quality Hände scope, which I already made a video about. And I installed this one because I have feeling that this good piece is going to stay with me. And then the biggest, fattest scope goes on top. You know, like some kind of award, a sort of service medal. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I practically fell in love with this thing at first sight. Already at Airgun when I saw it and thought, what is that awesome thing? Black wooden stock or something? Grey wooden stock. Wood is always good. The price was still okay. And at the latest, when it arrived here and I held it in my hands, I told myself, this fits. This fits. This is... Is this paperwork? Shall we do some paperwork real quick? I think this is the most important paperwork here. 10 shots, 10 meters, shooting from a seated position. I always say, the side doesn't matter. Side is important. I think one of them is a return here. There's a little piece, but it's not. It looked like an extra hole on the camera. But that's just a piece of fabric that got ripped out. And I noticed that the crosshair wasn't always in the same spot. So that's already 1,000. You don't want more than that. When it comes to stuff like this, I always want more. But anyway, that was it. Then let's get started. You always want to know, Jules. You guys are so crazy about shooting up there. Wow. Yeah, just over there. Then over there. Without graph, shots. There you can see, that's good. 6.9 joule, 7.1, 6.7, 7.0, 7.0, 6.9, 7.3, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7.0, 6.7, 6.9, 6.8, 6.7, 6.9, 7.0, 6.9.0. 97.0, 6.7, 6.9, 6.0, 6.7, 6.9, 7.0, 6.9, 7.0. Okay, sure, it would be even better if it were always exactly at 7.5 joules. Come on, let's not get carried away. That's relatively well for a regular PCP with a regulator. Yes, it's regulated, I think that's perfectly fine. What do I have here? I already pointed that out last time that it's long outdated. Where did I throw my paper now? There it is. Max 6 thrown. That's the last piece of paper. 1,000. I must have put it down and it's already not back there. That's definitely where I got the muscle soreness from. To be precise, it's the Kozak 450-220. There's another model, that's why I'm mentioning it. We'll get to that in a moment. That's actually included, this little booklet here. I paid exactly 406 and 30 euro gold coins for it, with approximately 4 magazines and no scope. So basically almost bare. The new price just for the gun is 680 with 2 magazines. Anyway, I only found one dealer who sells that thing in Germany. That's probably the only one allowed to put an F sign on it. I didn't find any others. There were a few in other European countries, but you know, Europe is always great just when it comes to weapons. Yeah, that's just the... We've got more paper here, we can take a look at that too. This bag was included, for example. The filling adapter is included. There are business cards from Airgun be included. Have you checked the thing or did you sell it? So, 5 or 6 pieces here from Airgun, the cards are included. And of course, I still have the Kitini rail in here along with the rubber part underneath. And here you can see that there are differences in length. There's a longer version and a shorter version. This here is the longer one. This is definitely the longer one. And it also includes manufacturing data with stamps and everything, how many shots you can expect to get out of it. They also come in 5.5 here with a stamp and signature, serial number, and manufacturing date. A nice stamp, Friedrich Wilhelm. I think it's nice that you get something like that with it. Above all, you start to wonder, when was that thing made? So I need to check later if Gandhi maybe made a video about this thing somewhere. I didn't find any other German ones. I seem to be the first one doing this in German. Here. Let's take this good piece in our hands. And now it's... screw it. I'm going to skip the orange gloves for now, because this thing is a pleasure to hold. This rifle feels good. It's just nice, just a pleasant feeling. Yeah, you can always tell I'm a little in love. We have a safety here, a manual safety. Oh yeah, it's not even cocked. Maybe you can't secure it. Whatever. Anyway, I don't need it, but it's nice that it's manual. There are 2001 adjustable cheek pieces. You just have to loosen a little screw and then you can... I don't need the little screw. Fits me just right as it is. I always pull it down a bit because I know that later I'll cut everything off from the neck down the video and then you won't see anything anymore. So I have to aim down there. Yeah. That's a really small handy little thing. Then it goes on from there, but we're still on wood before I start exaggerating again. Wood, thick, rubberized at the back. ZBroia is written on the back, and it's really soft rubberized. 2. It's pleasantly non-slip. For me, the trigger somehow always goes along with the stock. We have a trigger guard here. I'm just going to boldly claim that this is metal, but it could also be plastic. The guard, the trigger blade is steel, hollow, so it's rounded and stamped. There's an Allen screw in front here. Can you see that? From the trigger, it's very bright like a brass color. Now there's a screw that I'm not exactly sure what it does, but it's hard to guess that it has anything to do with the trigger. You can also make extensive adjustments, but you have to take off some wood first. Maybe it's the only adjusting screw, because the manual only says it's adjustable. Doesn't say at what height, width, length, or whatever. It shoots, but alright, we'll test that out a bit more in a moment. The barrel goes from here to about here, and then there's the silencer. Isn't that nice? The silencer is included as standard. I'm going to try to get this working again with this great camera here, since it always takes a bit longer for it to get itself together and work properly. I'm just going to cut out a little bit right away. Then we'll do a little hop, and then we'll continue from there. Can you even look down this steep? I hope so, yeah. I'm just going to put this down here somehow. Wait a moment until the whole camera calms down a bit so we can see something that makes sense. Yeah, we can see. First signs from up there. Can you see that well? It's going like this, right? So, let's move this around here for a bit, till something starts to show up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uh-huh. That's what it looks like inside there. I've already reached the barrel. A bit further back, out again. Yeah. Wow, what a moment of reflection. It looks pretty smooth there, but you can clearly see that there's a pretty big chamber behind it. Unfortunately, I can only see a small version of it here, but it looks like there are several discs, so several chambers, will eventually be addressed by the barrel. So, now I'm doing something I usually never do. Don't just flip them down, because we probably won't see much more than this here. I'm turning that off again too. We want to save battery, you know, for the environment and all. Now I'm just going to do something that I really don't like doing and therefore do it very rarely. I think I really need to get myself a running light for 2021. So, I can see a kind of pre-chamber here, maybe about 1 centimeter big. And right behind it, the second and third. So, it's a multi-chamber silencer. I don't want to commit to anything, but I would say it goes about up to the the beginning of the air tank. That's just what I would say. So, about this much of it. Silencer. I would say, let's just try out the silencer and see how well it dampens the sound. There's no magazine in it. We're already in there. Trigger pull. Maybe. Minute of take-up. And behind it completely. Scratch-free. Very clean. Bone-dry break. I guess it's set to about 500 grams. I don't know, maybe even less. Yeah, that's less. According to the sports regulations, I don't think there's a minimum trigger weight required for air rifles. 2021. What do we have here? I'll put that away again. It always irritates me when stuff like that is lying around. Not everything is tidy, but with some things, there always has to be order. Magazines, I have 4 of them here. They're made of aluminum, not molded plastic. This is what it looks like, but it's aluminum. There are 2 rubber rings around it. Probably to hold certain types of Diabolo particularly well. It's being pointed out again that pointed ones are not really intended for the Havelos. But I can imagine that they might fit in terms of size. The magazine is actually long enough for that. And there are front and back. You can really feel a spring-loaded metal ball. Yeah, it really clicks in nicely here. So, the notches go to the back. So, pay attention. Now I'm cocking it, and pay attention to the magazine as it rotates. I don't know, I'm trying to adjust the resolution so you can see it. The magazine is rotating. Now. Nothing special. So far it hasn't fired. Now I'm cocking it again. And the magazine isn't rotating anymore. That means if you have 2000, 1000 for double feet, that can't happen. The magazine only continues to rotate when a shot has been fired. When a shot is broken, something in the barrel is also out. So that means you don't have to pull the trigger again and say, okay, I'll try again. But if practically don't pull it, if the weapon hasn't fired because, for example, you pulled it but didn't push it all the way back to the click. You know, with all the other repeaters, you can quickly end up with 2 rounds in the chamber. That can't happen here, it just doesn't work. Yeah, just pull out the magazine. It's with the bullet thing. There's a second round down here, I'll show you in a moment. It locks in down here. So, there's no angular hook, but instead, there's another bullet lock at the bottom that practically controls the rotation of the magazine. You can see that silver spot, right? Yeah. The cocking lever. Back here it's nice brass, matches Grandpa's old dresser. Super smooth. Cocking is really easy here. But you can feel that the O-ring at the front is holding on, and you have to grip it a bit harder here. So you can definitely feel a certain resistance. The system is being cocked, and the magazine is being transported further. Is that good or bad? I recently had the Rexamax thrown here, which you could repeat with long fingers, because the whole repeating lever goes all the way back here. Here you have to let go. Repeat. I have to say, it doesn't bother me. I didn't know beforehand if it would bother me. I saw this construction, still bought it, and found out, problem at all. Is there anything else here that I haven't mentioned separately? The huge tank goes up to 300 bar and is this big. What did I shoot? I pumped it up to 250 bar earlier, even though it can go up to 300. I've now fired 4 cylinders, so 48 shots. And I've gone down from 250 to about 180, 175, 180, somewhere around there. So there's a certain air consumption. You have to imagine that uncastrated, I mean everywhere in the world, just not in Germany, shoots 70 joules. You can come back from the fainting spell. That you're awake again, I'll mention it one more time. 70 joules. So you might not get 100 shots out of it. I've shot 50 now. The operating pressure was somewhere around 120 bar, I think. So I would still have some left. So I could easily get 100 shots out of the tank before the regulator even notices that it's game over. Now I'm actually running out of ammo. I've gone through everything. Did I forget something? I'm sure I've forgotten something. I always forget something. The scope rail is only Picatinny. So, there's no double rail that fits both 11mm and Picatinny. It only works with Picatinny for me. I'm really glad. Had two 30mm Picatinny mounting rings for this scope. Otherwise it would be stupid if it didn't, right? Huge thing. It fits well on here too. There's no problem with loading. Everything fits. Yeah, I read somewhere. I don't think that's true, but I read somewhere. No, definitely not that you can supposedly unscrew something here, and then you can additionally put a silencer on it. I don't see it here now. This thing is too narrow to be a nut. Especially, where is the thread supposed to be where you just screw that part on? So the internal silencer has to be enough. I don't see a problem with that. I can just demonstrate that here. I know this doesn't help much because the compressor of the camera or the microphone here, without the software... What is a compressor? A compressor isn't meant to just pump air in. It's used in audio to make quiet sounds louder and loud sounds quieter, so that at a classical concert, the softest beep comes through just as clearly as when the tenor is really belting it out. That's obviously impractical if you want to measure the volume of something. Which way does he turn it? This way. I think I can just hook in directly like this, right? Is that working? No, I have to go there, right? One more. So it's not going to be clicked in at the top position, but at the one. Just below the top. I'm trying to hit the right chamber now. I think that was the wrong one. Yeah, that was the wrong one. Then this won't be any more wrong because he's turning it the wrong way. Everything's working like a charm here again. It felt like there was a projectile in the barrel. Yeah. So you hear, the impact of the projectile was louder than the actual shot. The silencer is working. At this moment in time, all the evidence and circumstances are strongly indicating that I should continue to hold on to this particular item. There doesn't seem to be any compelling reason or factor that would suggest otherwise, so it appears that keeping it is the most logical course of action. That's a good sign. Then I guess I have a good opinion of this thing. Just the fact that it's not plastic but aluminum, you can tell by the weight. Something completely different. By the way, 12 shots. I always find the 8-shot ones from Reximax a bit too small, and the Protex ones are a little small too. I would prefer the 14-shot ones from Reximax, I think, are even better. But it's super simple. You just drop the Diablo in, press it down, and that's it. However, there's also no mechanism that keeps the bolt open after the last shot or anything like that. And here you really have to count for yourself. And when the last one is out and you cycle it again, you're just shooting air. That's just how it is. Yeah. Nothing else is coming to mind right now. You can quickly throw me a suggestion so it can still be included in the video. No, you can't. I wanted to say that... Right. You all probably know Albert, the spy duck. I also tried sneaking a spy duck, but it got caught right away. It's not called Albert either. The problem with my spy duck is quite a pain in the ass. You notice it right away. Well, but it was worth a try. But I have another Albertine. I kidnapped her from her natural habitat, the bathtub. Maybe I can model her. If I'm unlucky, she'll start flirting with Alba. That's obviously not productive. So, just wanted to say that I didn't really see the point in spending money to buy a truly identical spy duck. So that was it. So, as always, I thank you for your endless attention or your craving for sensationalism, which works just as well for me. I wish you all the things you wish for me. Thank you all very much. I'm just wondering why I have a transparent plastic case. 0.5mm here. I also got that somewhere again. Somehow funny devils. 2021. A transparent package in the ER pack. Probably so you don't notice that there are only 300. Alright. See you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. 60 times the guy will be there. Completely all by himself. And also, poor Kay. But how do I still not say goodbye? I say 2021.